Hormones are chemical messengers that influence a variety of processes throughout the body. They are a factor in the widespread problem of obesity. Hormones such as leptin and insulin, in addition to sex hormones and growth hormones, all play a role in the regulation of appetite, metabolism, the rate at which our bodies burn calories, and the distribution of fat. These hormones, which promote a sluggish metabolic rate and fat accumulation, tend to be found in higher concentrations in obese people, who also tend to have a higher prevalence of obesity. So, for today's video, we're about to learn more about the relationship between obesity, hormones, and the gland that releases said hormones. We'll find out more in today's video. So don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more health tips and infos. A network of glands called the endocrine system is responsible for the release of hormones into the circulatory system. The endocrine system works in tandem with the neurological system and the immunological system to assist us in coping with the highs and lows that are inevitable in life. Changes in hormone levels, whether they are higher or lower, can either contribute to or be the root cause of obesity. The release of the hormone leptin into the bloodstream is the result of the process that involves leptin and overweight lipolysis. Leptin, a hormone that suppresses appetite, works by focusing on certain parts of the brain that are important for food desires and then reducing the activity in those regions. It would appear to control how fat is dispersed throughout the body. As adipose tissue is the primary source of leptin production, people who are obese often have higher leptin levels than people who maintain a healthy weight. People who are obese have higher levels of the hormone leptin, which suppresses hunger, compared to the general population. However, obese people are less susceptible to the effects of leptin, and as a result, they are less likely to experience satiety both while eating and after eating. Researchers are continuing their investigations into the factors that may be preventing the brains of obese people from receiving leptin signals. Insulin and the accumulation of fat. Insulin is a hormone that is secreted by the pancreas. Insulin is responsible for managing blood sugar levels and the breakdown of fat in the body. The ability of insulin to boost the rate at which tissues absorb glucose, sugar, from the blood is beneficial to several tissues, including muscles, the liver, and fat. This process helps maintain consistent levels of blood glucose while also ensuring that adequate amounts of energy are accessible for the body's typical functions. When a person is obese, their tissues may no longer be able to accept signals sent by insulin. As a consequence, the individual's blood glucose levels may rise uncontrollably. As a consequence of this, there is a possibility that you will acquire metabolic syndrome as well as type 2 diabetes. Insufficiencies of several hormones in obesity. How fat is distributed throughout the body can affect the risk of inheriting certain diseases that are connected with obesity, including cardiovascular disease, stroke, and some types of arthritis. The accumulation of fat in the abdominal region, as opposed to the buttocks, hips, and thighs, is linked to an increased probability of developing a disease. There is some speculation that estrogens and androgens are involved in the process of deciding where fat is stored in the body. Young women who are not yet in menopause have ovaries that are capable of producing estrogens, which are sexually active hormones. They initiate the process of ovulation at the beginning of each cycle of menstruation that they experience. After menopause, both men's and women's ovaries and testicles generate a significantly reduced amount of the hormone estrogen. Estrogen is produced in females not in their ovaries but rather in their adipose storage, albeit in significantly lower amounts. Androgens are produced in high quantities by the testicles of younger guys. As a guy gets older, these levels will naturally decrease. Changes in the distribution of fat in the body that occur with aging are connected to alterations in the levels of sex hormones that men and women experience. Women of reproductive age prefer to store fat in their lower bodies, giving them an apple-shaped appearance, whereas older men and women who have gone through menopause tend to store fat in their abdominal region, giving them a pear-shaped appearance. taking estrogen replacement therapy after menopause prevents women from developing belly obesity. In animal models where a lack of estrogen was evaluated, an abnormally large amount of weight gain was found to occur. Hormonal expansion and the rise of obesity. The pituitary gland in the human brain is responsible for the production of growth hormone, which has a role in human height as well as the development of bone and muscle. Growth hormone is another factor that can influence metabolic rate, the rate at which we burn kilojoules for energy. According to the findings of the research, adults who are obese have lower levels of growth hormone than adults of normal weight. The relationship between obesity and inflammatory factors. There is also a connection between obesity and low-grade chronic inflammation that occurs within the adipose tissue. Stress reactions in adipose, fat, tissue induce fat cells to release substances that increase inflammation, which in turn encourages the production of additional fat. Hormones that are produced by obesity could be a cause of sickness. There is a correlation between obesity and a variety of unfavorable consequences, some of which include an increase in mortality, a shorter lifespan, and a decline in quality of life. Being overweight also makes other health problems, like heart disease, stroke, and some malignancies, worse. These health problems are made worse by being overweight. The importance of the source of estrogen production is demonstrated by the association between an increased risk of breast cancer and higher production of estrogen in the fat of older and more obese women. This correlation provides evidence that the source of estrogen production is essential. Behaviors associated with being overweight and hormones. When a person is overweight, their hormone levels typically stimulate further fat storage. Because overeating and a lack of regular exercise tend to reset the mechanisms that govern hunger and the distribution of body fat, the individual is biologically more likely to gain weight as a result of these behaviors. Because the body is always trying to find its equilibrium, it is very resistant to short-term disruptions, such as those caused by crash diets. Following a diet that is low in kilojoules results in a reduction in the amount of leptin that is found in a person's blood, as shown in several studies. There is a correlation between a drop in leptin levels and an increase in appetite as well as a slower metabolic rate. Perhaps this is why the majority of people who successfully lose weight end up regaining it so soon. To evaluate whether or not leptin therapy can genuinely assist dieters in maintaining the weight loss they have achieved over the long term, additional research is required. It is possible to retrain the body to burn fat and keep it off for the long term by making adjustments to one's lifestyle, such as putting more emphasis on eating healthily and engaging in frequent physical activity. In the scientific research that was conducted, a reduction in insulin resistance, a lessening of inflammation, and a more favorable modulation of obesity hormones were all connected to weight loss. Another advantage of maintaining a healthy weight is a lower risk of developing cardiovascular disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and several different cancers. We've reached the end of this video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel. We hope to see you soon with a brand new update.